Okay. Let's hope my family who are upstairs don't come down and fuck up the recording. Oh god, I already fucked it up. Okay, I have 8 minutes to do this. I got my LaCroix ASMR. Don't know if you can hear that. I want to talk about art elitism, but as it pertains to the art community kind of not liking certain artists for certain reasons, and I think it's kind of unfair and rude. And before anyone calls me like a sheep or something, it's like, it's not that. As somebody who, I'm going to, look, I'm 18, right? I haven't been through art school, but I'm going to art school, and I feel like that gives me some authority to talk on this. I guess. What I've seen in like comments and videos and stuff of why people dislike LavenderTowne. Listen, okay. Gonna be honest, I've liked her art for a couple years. I started watching her very briefly after she started regularly uploading, so do I watch her as much as I used to? No. And that's just because there's other YouTubers I find more interesting. And I'm not saying, and that's my point is that I'm not saying you have to like everybody, but it kind of hurts me to see other artists or self-proclaimed artists knocking somebody for reasons I feel are invalid. And I'm going to talk about that. Yes. First, one of the big critiques I see. Oh, and another thing. I have nothing against critiques, but what I'm seeing aren't critiques. It's just people ragging on her, and I'm like, okay. First critique is that they're like, oh, she has no skill, she can't do anatomy. And, you know, she has tried to do more realistic stuff sometimes, and I believe from the very few photos of her portfolio I've seen that she showed us, her anatomy was, you know, it wasn't anything exceptional, but it wasn't terrible either. And people are like, oh, she sucks, this and this and that, and it's like, well, she's a cartoonist. Her skills are not, she has a different set of skills from a classically trained artist who's working in a realistic style. And if you look at people who, the alums from where she went, Alberta University now of art, some of the alums have, in the same department she was in, which was communication design, I mean, at least I believe, because I did a little research about her college. Some of them have fantastic, really classical illustrative art. But some of them also have that more of that flat style with the multiply layers and the very kind of, I wouldn't want to say sausagey, but you know, there isn't as much care to proper anatomy as there is more care to shapes. And something I'm seeing is people who are more into the classical style of art knocking on her for having non-classical anatomy and such. But you have to understand that it's a different school of thought, and that doesn't, just because she doesn't draw or do stuff traditionally doesn't mean she's less skilled than whoever is criticizing her. In many cases, what I've been seeing from comments is that she's far more skilled from people. And while I do think criticism from people who are obviously have a lower skill than you isn't automatically defunct or whatever, it's like, that, but it's like, there is also that if you're complaining about somebody and your art sucks, you shouldn't really be, like, complaining. And then, like, another, passive skill. I could elaborate that even more, but I'm not. I have 8 minutes. Passive skill, and then people are saying things about how the colors and anatomy and her thumbnails are looking like shit, but it's like, you gotta realize that YouTube is her job. She is a YouTuber first, right now, and I wouldn't call it clickbait, but she makes very marketable, very clickable art. And there is nothing wrong with that. She went into a major which is for that kind of stuff. And there is nothing wrong with making art your business, beyond freelance, beyond commissions for people with lots of money who are commissioning you for a painting, or a studio who's commissioning you as a freelance illustrator. There is art beyond that, and there is nothing wrong with that. And it's sad to see, And then people are saying, oh, she graduated art school, she should be better. But you have to realize she went into a school's, like, smaller department that is for business art, marketable art, stuff that people can mass consume. And that's what she's making. So you have to look at it from, is this consumable art? And it is. It's very consumable. It appeals to people who like anime, and it appeals to people who like cartoons, and it appeals to people who like her voice. Her voice, especially with the infrequent creepypastas that she reads, it's a very good voice in my opinion. And she has this aesthetic that she plays off very well. And so it's also her character as a YouTuber. And then it's like, I'm not a sheep or something. I'm not some unloving fan that's like, oh, my favorite, my fave, my stan, I'm a stan, I love her, and she's being criticized, and I don't think that's fair. It's that, as an artist, I think it's unfair for this art elitism that goes beyond the elitism that has persisted forever. Impressionists hated the post-impressionists. Modern artists hated classical art. There's always been this feud, and it sucks that it's happening still, but between more classically trained artists and cartoonists, and it's sad to see. And personally, I hate children's book illustration for myself. That doesn't mean I don't like looking at it or consuming it, but I don't like making it. And I'm going to a school where the illustration program is closer to fine arts than it is animation. But that doesn't make me better automatically than a cartoonist. And I think that's something that people need to understand when it's in respect to this. Okay, that's it.